GM, can you all hear me? It's Friday and it's an
Yep.
amazing day. Awesome, thank you. Friday, amazing day. ETF approved. Markets are going crazy. Sometimes a little up, sometimes a little down, but amazing day for all of crypto and all of gaming. Have exciting space lined up with some great speakers here. Gonna start off giving an introduction to some of the speakers we have here. So let's start. I'll start off with giving an introduction to Good Game Hunters. Web3 gaming guild where we have the core philosophy that gaming is supposed to be fun. So we both find, play, and collaborate with a whole bunch of great Web3 games here. Some of them who are here. I think that's pretty much it for Good Game Hunters. I'm happy to pass it over to, let's see, the Kingdom guys should be coming right up. In the meantime, while we get them up, let's pass it over to Leo from Haunted Space. You there, Haunted Space?
Hello. Sorry, I lagged a bit. What did you say? Hello. Can you hear me?
Do you want to go to you? What are you building? I know you have some cool stuff coming. Just a short intro, just fine.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. I lagged a bit. So, I'm Leo. I'm the CMO of Haunted Space, and not sure what exactly you asked, but maybe I can give a brief introduction of the project.
That would be great.
All right. So Haunted Space is basically a project that is developed by Galaxy Games, and it has a single player game that is complete Web2 game that is basically done and will be released on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox. And we are about to release actually other two products. One is our multiplayer game that will be released in a few weeks, and we are also about to reveal a third product really soon. And so, yeah, that's basically it. We're trying to merge the Web2 community with our single player game with the Web3 world with our multiplayer game. So, it's a brief introduction. Sorry for before. I fortunately my connection lagged a bit.
That would no worries. That is no surprise on Twitter Spaces. It can always be a bit particular. But let's hear it from Jack. What you guys are doing.
Hey guys, this is Jack from Circuit Lab. So we have a consumer-centric layer 2 protocol. We hosting quite a few games, having probably around 40 games going live on our chain this year. And yeah, so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. Indigenous Furry.
I didn't hear who you introduced. Was it me?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Hello, everybody. I'm Designer Dave, Chief of Design for Engines of Fury. I am currently excited to tell you that we are close to the alpha release of the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone playing. If you are not aware, the Fury token is trading live on a multitude of dexes, including KuCoin and BitGet and more that I don't remember. And we'll be trading on several more CEXs soon. We launched at zero point 0.2. It's now at 0.45. So I think this is the beginning of a beautiful token realization that will further be emboldened by the Engines of Fury game when it releases, because it will be a deflationary currency at that point, and everyone will benefit, especially the gamers.
awesome. Thank you so much for that introduction. Let's hear it also from Revived.
Yes, hello. I'm Tom. I'm founder, CEO, and game director on the Revive platform. To introduce you, the platform. This is web3 gaming platform with features like no-code game maker, asset creator, and marketplace. And all of that is based on the first game we are building on the platform. And the game will be available also on Steam or Epic Games. And it's inspired by the most popular competitive game mode from Minecraft, which is the most popular game overall. It will be a free-to-play game, team-based arena shooter with a building system and abilities. It's developed with AAA quality graphics on Unreal Engine 5, and it will be available on PC, consoles, and mobile devices from 2025. And right now we are close to the playtests in a couple of months. So stay tuned, and that's it for the introduction from my side.
Thank you for the intro. I see also the trailer you put up today looks really awesome. We also have the legendary YGG here, represented by Fallen. So I'm happy to hear intro from you as well. I'm sorry, I don't hear you. Do you guys hear him? I see he's unmuted. Maybe it's his mic.
That might work. There we go. Thanks for that. Yeah, my name's Fallen Corpses. I'm the community manager here for YGG. Deal with a lot of Discord, event planning, so on and so forth. We're a guild protocol leveraging blockchain technology to benefit guilds and grow guilds within the blockchain space. And we're also building a reputation system on top of that guild protocol so that guilds can reward their highest contributing members, whether that's people doing content creation, strategy, general gamers, and so on and so forth.
Awesome. I think we also have the Kingdom here joining us. So I think you just got up on stage, a good friend of all of us. Let's hear the intro from you if you can hear us.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is Alex from the Kingdom. Thank you for the warm introduction. I am the friend indeed. And first of all, can you guys hear me? Just checking.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, first of all, thank you to all the speakers who are attending this space in this awesome Friday. I recognize some of them all the way back from 2021 when the bull run was going strong, such as YGG, which was actually one of the first few projects I looked into at the time. It's really awesome to see that even years later, everything is still going strong with everybody that is developing here. It's really awesome to see. I'll love to see it. And I also did mint haunted spaces back in the day. And fun fact, at the start, I thought haunted space meant like a haunted location or a haunted mansion, something of the sort. But it turns out it actually is haunted space, is in space above the sky with the stars and the battleships and such, which honestly sounds a lot better than what I had in mind originally. But I digress. I'm not the most familiar with the other projects here, but I'm really looking forward to hearing about what you guys are up to, since there's always enough room for more, and there are honestly so many mind-blowing ideas out there that we need a ton of people working day in and day out to get everything developed into something great. And of course, thank you to our listeners, because it's thanks to you and your willingness to be here early and listen to our opinions and ideas on these subjects, which makes these spaces much more fun to go through. With all that being said, I will be giving a quick intro to the Kingdom. We are basically a game development studio mixed with the Web3 Gaming Guild and the community. We are currently developing a virtual tabletop RPG game called Tales of Aesor, which is being developed on Unity, where we aim to deliver a storytelling experience and a lot of player choice and freedom when it comes to where the story is going next. Much like an actual tabletop like Dungeons and Dragons, we have a very talented yet also slightly crazy team of writers who have built over 1 million words of world building so far to create a huge playground for the players to discover. And I tell you, going through the internal documentation for that is as scary as it sounds. Anyway, the game will be playable with our avatars, which we already have released. These are modular NFTs built entirely on Remark technology, and they are completely customizable. You can pick the traits, you can even equip different gear on them and change their appearance, their gear score, and even rarity, all in real time. you're actually able to access our application and create your free avatar right now. It's completely free to try. You don't need an account. You don't even need to connect your wallet. You can just go ahead, you play around with it, and you see if you like it. And finally, we are currently running a flash quest for this space, so you can start winning some points towards our leaderboard. If you're interested in that, just go to our application, select the quest for this space, and submit the secret passphrase, which is gear score, a gear space score. Doesn't really matter too much how you write it. As long as you submit it, it'll be perfectly fine. We'll be taking a snapshot of the top 100 players in our leaderboard, and they will be getting whitelisted to our free Neo Tokyo cross IP gear chest that is minting very, very soon, which will have gear for your avatars to equip. That is all from me now. Let's give our speakers some big heart emojis and let's get the space going. Excited to talk with you guys.
Thank you so much for the intro. Let's get right into it. We have an awesome space lined up. So to give a bit of context, we recently seen a surge in the Ethereum price and most of the ecosystems below it. This has, of course, been up to the ETF approval, which just got approved yesterday. Huge news for the entire space. But to bring it back to gaming, we're very curious to see how does this market volatility and a new market trend, how does that actually affect gaming? So that's what we're here to dive into. As you see, we have a bunch of great speakers lined up, so make sure to comment if you have any questions, give the space a retweet so we can get people in here, and then let's get right into it. So I'm going to hand this over to some of the speakers. What does this new market trend mean for Web3 gamers and the game developers? Does Honda Space have an opinion on that?
So what I would say is this: in general, as far as we've seen at the moment, a trend from that starts from Ethereum or Bitcoin in general will just, in particular Bitcoin, will just move all the other coin around. What I mean is, if you see basically if Bitcoin rises, all the other coin rise. If and as a positive trend, I mean in a number of days, let's say, and the same thing if decreases is the same. Now with these ETF introduction, for sure the price will increase. What I can say is we need just to wait the date of when basically these ETF, if I'm not wrong, they haven't released them, but these ETF will be basically available. But it's just a matter of timing, because as soon as they will release the date and they start pumping money inside the market, for sure what is going to happen is maybe here the lead will be Ethereum, but it will bring up everything, and gaming is one of the niche, the sector that will go up, as has been for the past bull run and this one, to benefit from this.
I see some other people have your hands pulled up. I see Dave, you're first. Feel free to jump in, David.
Yeah, I don't think it really changes anything. The unfortunate reality of GameFi is that games take a long time to develop. So whether our coin goes up or down, we still need to build a game and get it out there. So it might provide a little bit more runway. It might bring people into the crypto space more. But at the end of the day, we can't rely on Web3 gamers. We need all gamers. And that means maybe this provides some legitimacy, but I haven't seen any movement in terms of people going, oh, maybe crypto's okay now. No, it's still pretty much, no, all crypto is a Ponzi, blah, 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 blah. And I have to sort of go into the educational mode, especially when it comes to gamers who are just, they don't want to do anything with crypto. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I think we should all be free to play initially, to get people in the door.
I love it. Building, no matter whether it's bull or bear, right? The game needs to be built no matter how the coins do. Next, let's hear it from Jack.
Yeah, I definitely agree with designer Dave. I actually see both positive and negative from this movement. So the positive side is this might actually breathe some life into some of the tokens that not doing well, right? I mean, a lot of times games not designed properly, and I mean, like designer Dave said, right? Designing game is hard already. When you have to add the economy loop into the game as well, it's even harder, right? That's why a lot of them are failing, and because many of them just focus mainly on the tokenomics and the token itself rather than the gameplay. So, but even so, I mean, this market might actually make it so that is will last a bit longer. But then in the end, I mean, if the game's not going to fall through, right? So that's why there's both positive and negative. Now, the negative side as well. I mean, a lot of times when the market go wild, right? People tend to, I mean, they might actually cash out first, sooner than what you would hope for, because people don't know how long it's going to last and all that. So when market fluctuate like this, it really make it even more interesting to see. It's like if you don't not well battle tested in terms of your design, all that, it might actually fall sooner than later. So I think it'll be really interesting to see like who actually has the best design in terms of the game itself and also adding these Web3 elements. So we'll see. I think it's gonna be really interesting going forward.
Definitely, I do think you have a good point when you say it's going to breathe life into some of the ecosystem we're not doing as well. I think it would be ignorant not to think that prices going up is not going to attract more people. I agree definitely that no matter what price are doing, stuff needs to be built. And I think that's the perspective from builders. But I do also think it'd be ignorant not to acknowledge that when prices are going up, this industry has a lot more eyes. So it'll be interesting to see as we hopefully continue this trend to see how that what that will mean for adoption for new gamers. But speaking of that, what do you guys think Web3 gamers can do to be well positioned to take advantage of this market?
I mean, if I can say something, so I think to take advantage of the current market, Web3 gamers should focus on platforms and games that I don't know, not only offer entertainment but also potential for earning and learning about blockchain technology. And this is why we need to attract Web2 users by delivering quality games and show them that thanks to the Web3, they can actually play the games they love and make revenues out of that. So I think this is the advantage.
I definitely
I
think
think
that's a good point because like this entire GameFi industry offers a lot of opportunity for play to earn. So in a market like that, like not taking advantage of that is hugely beneficial for a lot of both games for attracting more initial players, but also I'm sure a lot of the players and especially from developing countries are going to take a lot of advantage of that. Leo from Honda Space, I saw you were going to say something.
Well, no. Well, I can. What I can say, taking advantage of this market is basically the best thing is that there is going to be new users. It's going to be mainstream, as the previous bull run at certain point. So what I mean with this is there are gonna be more user, and more user mean also more gamer. And the goal here is to have enough game ready. They are actually enjoyable, and at that point, we can convert a number of Web2 users into the Web3 world. When we do this, it's going to be, it's going to be much easier to then onboard much more. It's like a snowball. In my opinion, it's like a snowball. It starts with a game that's goes viral in the Web2 world, and after that is going to be more and more accepted. In general, the Web3 into the Web2 world, because at the moment, let's say that the mainstream gaming world doesn't fully accept the blockchain gaming. But in my opinion, just because at the moment there hasn't been so many valuable game, quality game out there, except a few. And but as more as this will roll out during these years, the easier will be to onboard these people.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. It makes me wonder if like, and you guys let me know what you think about this. If what is the breakthrough for this industry, if it's gonna be a good game, like either way, it's gonna be a good game, but it's gonna be a good game that launches and it's a good game on day one, and then grabs attention from the Web2 scene, and then onboards people that way. Or do you think it will be more of a, I guess, decent game, and then like a lot of games in Web3 are developing and becoming a good game, and then but what they can take advantage of now is this surge in prices, which means that a lot of eyes will be on it. It means that they have a community that will help them give feedback to develop the game. So do you think it will just be a good game off the gate? They'll like take the Web2 people in, or will it be a game that sort of utilizes this like community of way of using the community feedback and this current market trends to build up a good game and then slowly go mainstream? I'm not sure if you think it's going to be the first one where it's just a good game out the gate, or something that's developed out the gate. What do you think?
I think that we need to be very cautious about bringing people into this marketplace because when everything is going crazy, that's when all the hype games start and all the people start, all the fake projects come out, and that's when all the scam artists are around. And that's the worst introduction possible to someone who is new to the crypto space. So I am extremely cautious about bringing new people into this particular type of marketplace. The bear market was actually much easier to introduce people into it because the projects that were around were the ones that were really building. And now it's very much that if I'm trying to get someone to come into this space, I have to show them specifically which projects are good and which projects are bad, which puts me in a delicate position. But either way, the thing is, like, we have to do a lot of education ourselves because people are scared of crypto because they see all the scams and stuff. And even though these ETFs are opening up, that doesn't mean that the scammers aren't out there. It means they're out there all the more because now there's more money in the marketplace. So I just want everyone to be very, very cautious, especially new gamers to this space. I want you to be very, very cautious and do your due diligence and like look at the LinkedIn profiles of the people that you're considering putting your money with, because if you don't do that due diligence, you could get burned.
Yeah, I completely agree with Dave here. I think the market going up is good overall for projects, but it's not necessarily good for onboarding people, especially with the hype and everything that's coming in. Gameplay should be always first, right? If the game is good, people will come to it. Web2 gamers don't necessarily care about the economy of a game as much as they do that the game is good, right? The economy means nothing for a game if the game is horrible and there's no players in that economy, right? So at the end of the day, everything needs to come down to gameplay. That should be first, right? What we've seen a lot here at YGG and from our partners is that having a good game translates into more revenue, more retention throughout the whole lifespan of the game and through the development period is possible, which in turn means their token price, their economy goes up and lasts longer, whether it's a bull market or a bear market, right? And again, what we're seeing is a lot of games going to this idea that we need to get good gameplay, we need to have it first. Maybe it doesn't need to be perfect, right? That's another big thing in blockchain and Web3 that I think is done better than Web2 for a lot of games is transparency. Like, hey, okay, we know this isn't perfect, but here's what we're doing. Here's our roadmap. You can see the changes going on. You can participate. That's another big thing. You can participate in the development of this game, but having at least a initial product that people can see, okay, this is real. This has something going for it. There's passion from the team. We can help develop it is the big playing point here. And it should always be game centric first, economy second. And that way we're not scaring people off, with this possible bad taste in the mouth from previous markets about like NFTs and blockchain and all that.
Yeah, I think the difference between this cycle and last cycle is that this cycle, there's a lot more games that have better quality, I would say, right? People no longer really just rush into the market, and they have been building since last cycle, right? So I think gamers will have a lot more choices. And because it become so competitive, and now the Web3 project understand better that, they must be competitive, right? So, and coupling with all this, the NFT hype is kind of dying down. So now the cost to enter games is actually much cheaper. Like Ragnarok Monster, for example, is very affordable. I don't think they announced the price. I don't know if you can talk about the price, but it's actually affordable even for Southeast Asian people, for example, right? So I think because of the market condition, because people have learned from the last cycle, and all this game adapting to it, I think it's kind of make it more open. So there's a lot more free to play to get people to try out first. And also, even if they need to get certain NFTs, it's actually much cheaper. It's actually even some of them even less than $10, right? So I think it's actually the right market. It's actually much better than last time to enter right now. So I think take advantage of that. But again, like the same as what everyone else said, right? I think it's come down to gameplay. So if you're not sure about the game, don't buy the NFT. Try the game out first, and if you like the game, sometimes you can even earn the NFT from the game itself, and sometimes you feel like, okay, you need a little boost, then you can buy from there as well. But yeah, I would say definitely get into something you can see and you can get your hands on, rather than something that people just hype about and you don't know if they can deliver.
100%. One of the things that I've seen this cycle that I'm really loving is this idea of play to airdrop, where they're trying to get the NFT assets into the people that are playing in the game and helping develop it in like alpha and beta stages. And I think that that is translating into really good results for both the game and the gamers as well.
Yeah, I really got to agree with the last points, especially with what Jack is saying about going with the NFTs and trying out the games before actually buying them. And this actually leads me to, in order to get really good positioning in this market, is to join a community, really a community of a few crazy people who are super early and they love playing all the games and they try out all the things and just see what they're talking about. Just get out of your shell and chat up and see what they are up to. Sometimes you find real good gems in those conversations, because these games, they might be developing for a long time, but they don't always have, or they don't want to have a lot of marketing just yet. So they're not really getting out there because they don't need to have this huge influx of people just coming in and playing their games. And usually just talking with other people so that you can cover just a huge amount of ground and try everything out before you even buy anything tends to be a really simple yet really good way to position yourself in this kind of very unpredictable market.
Definitely think that joining communities is a huge bonus. I actually think, someone said something interesting about some of the scams, that it's not good for the onboarding, because now we're about to have a whole bunch of scams, which is a very interesting point, because so we are actually about to, if the market continues, let's hope, right? But we're about to have a whole floodgate of scams and coming back into the space. So maybe let's touch a bit upon, like, what can gamers out there, some seasoned, or some of the new ones, of course, what can they do to protect themselves from scams? Obviously, there's like the easy ones, which is like phishing and stuff like that. But I think the scams that are the hardest to spot is either like slow rocks, like a project that promises the world and just never delivers, or delivers something very shitty. But like a game that puts out minimum about amount of content, sells a NFT collection for like 10 million in the bowl or something like that, and then just never delivers. What can gamers out there do to protect themselves from this?
Yeah, you have to vet the team. So you got to go to their website. You got to see who's on board. You got to go to their LinkedIn profiles. You got to see what they've worked on before. Are they new to games? Have they been in the game space for a long time? Have they ever made a game before? These are all extremely important questions to get answered. And then you need to know how many people are on the team. Are they all located in a central office, or are they all remote? Where are they? What are their backgrounds? Do they have a programmer? Do they have an artist? Do they have a cinematics team? Like if they promise you a MMORPG, do they have 5 network programmers on that team? Like There's all sorts of ways to vet it. It's very obvious to me because I'm a game developer and have been doing it for 25 years. It might not be obvious to someone who's never looked into what it takes to make a game. But I promise that if you see that there's like, 3 people and 1 developer, and they're promising you a game in 9 months, it's probably not going to happen. So got to do the due diligence, and everyone should get used to that.
I would say I'm a little bit disagreeing on that because I mean, first of all, when you ask people to come to Web3, right? You ask them to be their own security expert already. Now we're also asking them to essentially become almost like a game analyst or like an expert in gaming industry, which is hard. I mean, when you think about Web 2 games, right? You don't ask anyone to go and analyze the team and all those things. You see the game on the shelf or online, and then if it's good, and then there's all these reviews and stuff, right? So I think it's also responsibility for a lot of people in the industry, especially from maybe some streamer, maybe some KOLs that actually do the job of kind of vetting this project. And I mean, if they do it honestly, right, and not just kind of shield the game because they have the allocation, for example, I think it'll be better as a whole. Because I mean, man, there's so many, there's like hundreds and thousands of games out there. It's just impossible for everyone to do it. And one thing I would say that's make it even more difficult is because of all these like games template that's out there that actually looks like Project Lyra from Unreal Engine 5, for example. I mean, I have seen at least 2, 3 projects that literally use that as a starting point, and the game looks really good, right? So if you'd never seen, I mean, never heard about of this template, like starting template before, you would not know. You'll be like, oh, damn, the everything looks really good, like, right? But it probably only took them, let's say, 2 to 4 hours, let's say, to even set up the game, for example. So it's I know it's like definitely education process, but I think it really come down to all this expert industry to really help guide everyone through, rather than have everyone do their own DD, because I think it's just impossible, and I don't think they're knowledgeable enough as well.
All right, let me push back then. The problem is those KOLs are all compromised. They're paid by those people who are pushing those games.
I know, definitely, yeah.
So really at the end of the day, if you can't do that sort of due diligence, then you have to wait for the game to release. And that means that the only people involved in the token sales and things like that beforehand will be the speculators, and the speculators are terrible at waiting for games. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty difficult balance to make, right? Because on one hand, if you're going to spend money and invest something into a project, then you should really make your due diligence. On the other hand, gamers are really lazy. So I really do agree that it comes down to waiting for the game to release and being able to actually try it out. Or maybe the game is free and you can go ahead and play around with it and actually see the vision behind what the developers are trying to achieve. So it's really complicated to balance those two, especially when it comes to your average gamer in Web 2 who just wants to go ahead, play something or buy something and just be set from that. So I'm actually very curious to see how solutions to that will be implemented through the user experience itself as we see this space moving more and more forward. Now, I want to make a little aside really, really quick. We are currently running a flash quest for this space, and you can go ahead on our application and submit a passphrase. The passphrase is gear score. If you submit that, you'll get a few points and it'll count towards the leaderboard. Thank you. We can get to the discussion.
Okay, so I think it's an interesting discussion as well, but say that you're a gamer who doesn't want to do a whole bunch of DD. What is then like what is then the process for finding a good game? Is it just sticking to, only Epic Games or other game launchers saying, okay, this is the only place I'll find my Web3 games, because I don't want to do 2 hours of DD before I even play the game? Or like how will that go?
So, in my opinion, there are, I would say, 2 or 3 factors. So the first one is the one that someone mentioned before, is regarding the team. Guys, in general, if the team worked in some big game studio, and in general has made, for example, our team, the cool thing about us is that our company did another product that is our single player game, so we can show the quality of the game that we can release, for example, or someone else inside the team has another company has done another game for another company and was the game designer and things like that. So for sure, the first thing you need to check out is the team or the company behind. Second thing is traction. After you make the game, you need to be able to market it in general. So if the company doesn't have traction, that's an issue. So because obviously there are going to be competitors that have, I don't want to say the same, but might have similar games or in the same genre. So you need to have, find a key or something. The company needs to find something that differentiates from them and is able to market it. So this is the second part. And the third thing is and that when I mean traction is both in the game. If the game is released, basically obviously that's the easiest part, because if you made a game that has traction, at that point it's an easy investment, let's say. But also off the game, so I mean on social media, mainly in the web3 world, because obviously in the web3 world a lot of games have much more traction on social media after the release. In the web3 world is different. A lot of games have much more traction actually before the release. So you need to check also that out. And the third thing is partner. If you see they have big partners, it means that someone has already done, the due diligence. So if someone has done the due diligence at that point, for example, we got a grant, a partnership with Epic Games. It means that Epic Games has already done the due diligence, and so it's easier for a small investor to jump in, because someone that has done already that has already jumped in. So that's it. That's what I would say, the big three things.
I think there needs to be a good distinction on what just the average gamer is, and then like a speculator as well as a gamer, right? Because when we're talking about due diligence and all this other stuff, a lot of it pertains to the fact that this gamer is probably going to invest something into this game before it's even out, whereas a lot of gamers don't really care about that. They just want a good game to play and spend their time. And if we're talking about the Web3 aspect, that their time, should they want to, leave that game or anything else, that they own those assets and they have control over it, right? So I think that's a clear distinction we have to make, because if it's just a good game or anything else like that, then a lot of this vetting and stuff just comes down to whether or not the game is fun for the player to play.
Yeah, and I think maybe the industry as a whole, maybe we can decide to do certain things. I mean, the way I think of it, right? I mean, purchasing NFT is almost like you pre-order the game in a way, right? So I mean, you still have to, of course, do DD and decide like which one you want to purchase. But if it's something that's like just has ridiculous costs, like back in the 2021 cycle, then maybe stay away from that, right? And then another thing is, I think the newer games now, they start to launch token after they're launching the game, like Pixelmon and I mean Ragnarok Monster, all these newer games, Samurai Saga, for example, they're all launching the token after the game. So I think that might be a better standard to protect average gamers, right? Because of course they get to try it out first, and maybe we start from a point system instead, like so you can do play to airdrop, and you get to play and then enjoy, and then you get the token. You can earn that way, or you can also, of course, join an ID or launch pad, but only after they actually have tried the game, right? So then I guess I think that will actually be much better for consumer protection. But of course, some of the project need to fundraise and get more money. So I mean, I think we have to strike the balance somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So, in your guys' perspective, if these gamers, should they even care about the price fluctuations in this market, or is it just, because it's from the builder side, it's very much game first, product first, which of course I agree with 100%. From the gamer's perspective, should they even care about the price fluctuation? Like, should that even matter to some of them, or should they also just think like the builder only, like only game first? Do you think the gamer would play the game they think is the most fun, or where they earn the most? I guess it's another way to put it. Like, should they care about the price fluctuations?
I don't think that they should, predominantly because if we're doing our jobs correctly, we will price adjust everything in our games so that we aren't suddenly having them pay, $100 to get in. And that's one of the important things that got missed, I think, in the first round is like when it's $300 to get into Axie Infinity, it's kind of a ridiculous ask. And the only reason that people were even paying that was because they actually were forming sweatshops in the Philippines to force people to play the game for a day. Which is sad to say, but that's kind of what happened. So we need to be very careful as developers to make sure that our tokenomics works out in the favor of the players, and that if we think our game is worth $60 to get in or $20 to get in, we need to make sure that that price that we match that fluctuation in the price some way.
Yeah, I think what you just said there, Spaceman, is it's literally, are you a gamer or are you a speculator, right? If you're looking for the highest yield and the highest price, you're most likely not caring about if the game is fun. You're just trying to make as much money as possible, right? Versus the gamer, it's like, well, if this game is fun, the game is fun, and then the earnings are after, right?
Yeah, true. I guess that's an important distinction.
Yeah, we just have to develop games that are fun because this is essential of gaming to play for fun. It should be like engaging and have value beyond the speculative components because players doesn't look at charts and so on. So with that approach, we just have to focus on creating value through gameplay itself, not just for the currency.
I definitely think that's true. I guess my only, just to be sort of the devil's advocate here, is uh, all of what you said is true. It's game first, should be fun. Obviously, I agree with that. But to be devil's advocate, like, I think it would be ignorant not to acknowledge the fact that when you do make it like financial, which GameFi is, so when you do add this financial aspect, it also ties sort of into this game. Like, you can you can come in just wanting to play a fun game, and then like you win like some crazy NFT that's worth $1,000 or whatever. Like, if you make $1,000, that sort of changes the whole dynamic. Oh, you want to make that again, right? Or what if that $1,000 turns into $10 because something happens to that? Like that's sort of upsetting, right? So you can also come in like as a gamer, but because we've turned this into like more of a game finance, it also does have this element of price fluctuation, which I guess gamers are also exposed to, even though they're not necessarily trying to.
I think they're kind of exposed to that in Web 2 as well, right? You look at some of the Counter-Strike skins for stuff like that happens as well. I think the big thing with blockchain is transparency and ownership, right? Like Steam can technically borrow and remove assets as they please. Once it's on the blockchain, right? Like, you can trade that as you please. The idea that I always go to, so I have some friends that have kids, right? And their kids are big into Fortnite, so they're always buying Fortnite skins. So the way I kind of pose it is like, well, wouldn't it be great if those Fortnite skins, you could resell down the road, let's say when your kid doesn't want to play the game anymore, right? Like, you have control over the assets to choose what you do with it versus you've just paid for it and there's nothing more you can do. Like, it's just a one-time thing.
What I would say is that it depends on the game. If the game is similar to Axie Infinity, for example, where you basically, to just play it, you have to buy a number of NFTs, that's one thing. And in that case, I would say, yeah, that's in my opinion, in general, any games that are pay to win in general, obviously, also if the market is fluctuating, is something that it's even worse for a Web2 gamer, because obviously it can be beneficial when the market goes up, but it can be really bad when the market goes down, and so frustrate people, and that's it. On the other side, if you're talking about a normal game, like for example, let's say CS:GO on the Web3 or any other game, it doesn't really make any difference, except that the skin or item that you have is on the blockchain, it's in your wallet, and cannot be moved from the developer. So it's just will just um, you know have a layer of security for the gamer, and that's just something that can be beneficial for in general for the gamer. There is literally no there is only benefit for the gamer in this case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think sorry.
Sorry, go
One of
ahead.
the big things I wanted to make sure everyone kind of thinks about is make sure that getting into your game as easy as possible, because that's the only way we're going to get the Web 2 gamers to even consider coming into Web 3 right now. Be free to play, let them come in without having to buy anything at all, and you'll be amazed, because those are the people who end up spending quite a bit of money once they're actually in your game and in that economy and interacting with the other players. And a lot of them, you can design in-game economies based on player interactions. And just a simple thing like gifting can make you oodles of profit and give your game years of runway. So don't feel like you have to get that money up front. You don't. You need to make that game good, and then when they're in that economy, when they're running through your game and enjoying it, that's it's easy to get exactly what you need to keep running that game for forever. Just make sure you enjoy doing that.
Yeah,
This
and I
is
would say
just
that
I just wanted to say that this is just a regular Web2 approach, and this is should be something common as well in a Web3 space. Just to add it.
yeah, but the thing is, right? I mean, if you're gonna call yourself a Web3 game, I will say there's no running away from the economy, right? I mean, it's Web3 game is basically Web2 plus economy loop. So it needs to be designed well. And I think I mean the price fluctuation, it may cause the entry point to be like it become a barrier. And like the designer Dave said, right? I mean, if you do it, probably you should adjust that down. But now price fluctuation, I feel like it's also one of the component that gets some people excited, right? So it's kind of add a different kind of element to the game. And I mean, some people might feel more excited about the game. I mean, they could enjoy the game at the same time as also trying to make money, right? So I feel like it's really come down to game design and how to handle certain situations. If the price really jump up very high, like how do you react to it as a developer? And then if the price goes down, how do you react to it, right? So that it becomes sustainable. Because I mean, Web3 game, the key difference here as well is that especially if you have tokens, right? All of a sudden, you cannot have a game where people spend only, like, let's say, like a Harry Potter game where people spend 40 hours, 60 hours, and they just walk away, right? The moment you have tokens, then your game has to last much, much longer. Like could be like 3 to 5, maybe even to 10 years, right? So it just become a different kind of game completely. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely something that we cannot ignore, right?
Yeah, but let's say Harry Potter is a single player game, so usually all single player games are designed to play like 20 up to 60 hours. So by designing more like service game as a service, then you will be able to have a community up to years. So this is that.
Yeah, I mean, you can also break it down so that they could become more like a competitive esports type, right? I mean, like if you take a look at something like Dustbreaker, for example, they recently ran a mini tournament, right? So you can break down and have certain people play a certain section and then compete. So I could see the world where even Harry Potter single player experience, they could break down so that you can do speed run, and then compete against each other and earn token, or I mean, maybe even bet against each other and all that. So I think it's really how you want it to be, whether it's single player game or PvP. I think either way is doable.
I think it's very interesting to hear people make comparison to Counter Strike. Coming from a background with GamerPay, which is a marketplace for games, but primarily Counter Strike, right? Like GamerPay, there we learned a lot about how the player there thinks and operate. And there's really two types of Counter-Strike like players. There's obviously like the gamers who just enjoy the game. Then there's like the speculators also. Like there's even people out there who have like tens of thousands, some of them hundreds of thousands or millions in Counter-Strike skins, and don't even play the game that much, if at all, but they just do the speculation part, right? And then there's obviously some people in between that. But do you think is that also going to be the future of blockchain, where we have a game where there's both room for the speculators and just the gamers who don't really care that much but just want to play? Is that also what this like hybrid model is going to look like in blockchain, you think?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because who are the speculators in game development right now? I guess they're the people investing in stocks in like Activision and EA and stuff, and now Microsoft, which owns almost all the games. But they're quite separate in that market, the speculators and the gamers. A gamer could be a speculator, but they don't have to be, and probably won't be. But in Web3, it's very unique because if you are playing a game and and you want to purchase something within the game, in Web3 you're going to buy the token, and the token is effectively the same as the stock in the Web2 space. So you're effectively investing in the game, and it's what we've done with Engines of Fury is designed a deflationary tokenomics package, and the more people play the game, the more deflationary it becomes, and therefore the more valuable the token over time. The whole point being that if you invest a lot of time and you play for years, that at the end of that you'll have gotten back something from that commensurate to the time invested. And I encourage everyone to do something along those lines because it is very rewarding for the gamer at the end of the day, even though right now it's all kind of theoretical.
Interesting, interesting. Just from a side perspective, when you mention it's similar to a stock and how you make it price deflationary to sort of like play with supply and demand of that, I understand from the perspective of the speculators, like they're surely very happy about it. But do you have some sort of fear that like the SEC or stuff like that, it might backfire on that end if you make it too much similar to a stock?
Not really, especially now that we've seen them approve the ETH ETFs. If ETH is not a security, then we're all free to go. Let's go to the moon, baby.
I mean, right now there's still legal loophole, right? Because as long as you don't pay us dividend, as you actually have to take an action to earn it, or like even with staking, right? I mean, right now it's kind of a loophole as well. So if you stake your token and you can earn, that's not considered security. But if you just hold onto the token and you just get airdrop constantly from the earning from the games, then that becomes security. I think that's the general understanding, and I don't think that will change anytime soon. So, but yeah, again, the US they still call everything security, right? So we'll see. Hopefully that will change soon.
They're firing Gensler, I promise you.
Yeah, I think again, if that token is like actually used in game for other activities and stuff, then it's not. They can't even touch it as a security, right?
That's my understanding, and we're not doing any airdropping or anything. We've made it a deflationary token, so the more that people spend, the more gets burned. So I think that's the safest way to do it. That's my approach. I'm open to new ideas as well, but I would encourage everyone to follow this one because as far as I can tell from everything I've looked at, that's the best way to go for the future safety of the people playing your game.
Awesome. I appreciate you sharing your learnings there. I think there's definitely a whole rabbit hole to dive into if we start talking about tokenomics design and how to structure it correctly. But we are coming up on the hour, so I do want to appreciate people's time. So before we round down here, let's go around and hear from some of the speakers from like what are some upcoming events people should be excited about for your project? What's the roadmap look like? Stuff like that. Maybe a good friend. Do you want to start off with the kingdom?
Oh, actually, I'll go after the speaker since I'll be presenting the passphrase one last time. Sounds good?
Sounds good. Honda Space, you want to start?
Yep. So In the next future weeks, actually, we are going to release, starting releasing the alpha of our multiplayer game, plus a new product that we haven't revealed yet, but that we will basically reveal during these weeks. And then after that, the most, let's say, exciting part of the crypto world, other than releasing the game, we'll do the TG. So stay tuned, because we will start releasing stuff, and then we'll obviously go with the TG.
Love it. I'm super excited for that. I'm gonna follow that closely. Let's hear it from Jack.
Yeah, so for us, we have an IDO coming up next Tuesday, actually, and TGA right after. In terms of games, we have, I think if there's no delay, there should be at least 3 or 4 games going live on our chain in June. One is Samurai Saga, there's Soccer Sage, and then there's One Tap, and then there's a few others as well. So hopefully they all basically launch on time, and we have a lot more good games in the market for people to try out.
Sounds amazing. I look forward to playing those games and hosting some game nights for those. Let's hear it from Revived.
Yeah, today we released a gameplay video, so you can check it out. In a couple of weeks, there will be a Genesis NFT mint, which is a free mint. It will be early access pass granting holders variety exclusive benefits, symbolizing the utmost stake within the ecosystem. Then, after like a couple of weeks, we will be launching a playtest for the users, and in a couple of months, there will be also a token launch. So this is something for upcoming weeks and months from our side.
Awesome. Free mint. Super excited for that. Who doesn't love a free mint? So let's hear it from Dave from Engines of Fury.
Engines of Fury. Engines of Fury is a top-down extraction shooter with ARPG elements. If that sounds cool to you, this summer we will be in early alpha, and I hope that you have signed up on our website, euf.gg/alpha. We just partnered with Polygon, and the Fury token is available on multiple dexes, and we just announced another one, Candy Bomb, where if you complete some tasks, you can grab a share of 96,900 Fury that is going up for grabs. So let me just urge you to go sign up for the alpha if you are a gamer. We want gamers in our alpha. It will be a free-to-play game. You will never have to touch a token if you don't want to. Join us on Engines of Fury.
Love it. I can't wait to play that also. Let's hear from YGG.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining, especially the other speakers. Always love hearing what other people are developing in the space. If you guys are interested on working with YGG, definitely reach out to myself and I can put you in contact with the partnership team. We are just about to finish our GAP season, so Guild Advancement Program, where we partner with our game partners to like develop quests that our players can participate in and earn tokens and also build reputation. So if that sounds interesting to you as a game partner that you want to work with us on that, we're always looking for exciting games to showcase to our community and get them through the door. So thank you, Spaceman, for having me, and pleasure speaking with you all.
Thank you so much also for coming. It's a pleasure to have you all here and hear your alpha. Let's hear it last but not least from Alex.
Yeah, we will be releasing our very own free mint of Neo Tokyo Cross IP chests. These chests will have gear for the avatars. It'll be an entirely free mint. They're all themed around Neo Tokyo, which we are partnered with. We also have our pre-orders for our Gen 1 avatars currently open, so you can go to our application, you can create your avatar for free, and if you like what you're doing, you can even set your pre-order right now, so you don't have to fear missing that short and tight mint window. We also have a questing season going on. You can start accumulating points and earn rewards at the end of it. It's completely free. You don't need to be a holder or anything to get your points and they start accumulating. And we're also going to be doing quite a few gaming events in no time here. We'll be playing the latest Chrono Forge test, pretty exciting stuff. And lastly, I am going to be giving the passphrase right now. The passphrase for the Flash Quest for this space is Gear Score. You can go ahead and submit and get yourself a few points. The top 100 questers will be getting a whitelist for our free mint chest. So that's pretty exciting stuff. And once more, thank you so much to all the speakers here. It was an awesome discussion. It was really, really cool to see what you guys thought about the current state of affairs with Web3 gaming. And thank you so much to all the listeners who came here and spared their time to listen to what we have to say. You guys make it really awesome, and we really appreciate you. Thank you.
On that note, let's wind down here. I wish you all have a happy Friday. It's weekend. Thank you so much to all the speakers, all of the listeners. I wish you all have a great weekend. Peace out.